Hello my friends, welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I'm back once again showing off some new additions to the ever-growing collection. This time I'm going to be taking you through a mixture of merch, CDs, vinyl, even a tape thrown in for good measure, all of which I picked up from the Earache Records sort of Black Friday through Xmas, basically all of December sale that they had on their web store. A really decent, like genuinely decent sale that they actually had on there. And I picked up a few things, or was gifted a few things for Christmas as well. I've already shown them off in my post-Christmas collection update. I then went back and I ordered a load more stuff. So just to put it into context though, I've got quite a lot of stuff here, but I have actually recently been cleansing the collection a little bit. I've sold quite a number of t-shirts that I haven't worn in a long time, just kind of trying to thin things out a bit. Sold quite a lot of CDs and vinyl that I've just maybe grown a little bit distant from, or just haven't enjoyed all that much. So I've done a bit of a cull, and instead of putting that money to something that's maybe beneficial in the long run, I just decided to spend it on putting more things back into the collection. But you know what? I'm really chuffed with all of these articles. So first of all, I'm going to go through the clothing, t-shirts, and long sleeves. I do love a good long sleeve. And we'll start with this rather nice long sleeve. This is of an interesting one. It is the album cover from Entombed, Swedish old school death metal legends. Their third album, Wolverine Blues. So we've got the album artwork on the front there, and as Earache tend to do with their long sleeves, they've got their logo on the sleeve, down the sleeve there. Very cool. And on the other sleeve, we've got the Entombed logo. So this logo is obviously the original logo. It's the much more recognizable, iconic Entombed logo, and I certainly prefer it. I think a lot of Entombed fans would also prefer it. Just trying to actually straighten out the sleeve so I can show that off. That's a much better logo. Very cool. I obviously haven't worn this yet. This is straight out of the box. On the album cover though, actually featured a different logo. We'll say a different logo. A further rendition of Entombed's logo, and not quite as cool. But this album is an interesting one because it is quite a transitional album. Obviously, the debut is an absolute benchmark, all-time legendary metal album, Left Hand Path. We then had the different but equally brilliant Clandestine, the follow-up album. Then we have Wolverine Blues. Now, over the years, that album has really, really grown on me. I know it's a very popular album. It's a benchmark album in its own right, but it has really grown on me over the years. And what I love about this, so this was obviously in the sale, and it was a very good price. What I love about that artwork is that it's not necessarily obvious what it even is. I quite like that. I quite like artwork where you really have to study it to work out what on earth is going on. It's like Carcass Symphonies of Sickness. You could spend a long time trying to work out what on earth that mess is, and then maybe you do get it. But I thought that's a cool one, and I love the fact that it's got the variety of Entombed logos there. It's just a cool article to have. So, a nice long sleeve from Entombed, first of all. Then, another absolutely legendary band here. We've got Napalm Death with this rather bright and attractive Scum shirt. So Scum, obviously being the debut album, or it's an interesting one. I think it was actually recorded in two different parts or two different sessions and then kind of squashed together. But Scum is the debut full-length album from Napalm Death. Grindcore godfathers, death metal legends, avant-garde experimentalists, whatever, legends all round. Absolutely love Napalm Death, and I certainly love the Scum artwork. So that artwork, if you're not aware, was actually designed and produced by none other than Carcass frontman, legend, Jeff Walker. And I love it. It's an iconic cover, iconic bit of artwork. I love Napalm Death's kind of noisy, squiggly logo. So we've got it in nice, big, bold, bright yellow print there. And Scum title is also bold and in yellow as well. So I do actually have this with the artwork, but sort of like a white and grey, black logo as well. I was on a long sleeve, so I recently got that on a long sleeve. But as soon as I saw that big, bold logo, had to get it. Couldn't resist, and it was a bargain. Really, it was about £11, and that's really good for merch these days. I remember a time where merch cost, for a standard t-shirt, 10, 11, 12, 13 pounds. Nowadays, you look online on eBay or Amazon, the more conventional outlets, ridiculous, 25 plus pounds for a standard t-shirt. Go to hell. No way. So I just wait for the sales and just top up the merch selection with good bargains like these. So, up next, again, we're talking bright, we're talking bold, we're talking colourful, we're talking massacre with a different adaptation of the artwork from 1991, I believe. 1991, the debut album, the amazing From Beyond. So this is not the original album cover. This is a 2023, I believe, adaptation or re-imaging of the From Beyond Ed Repka cover. And this is a great one. I love it. I actually do have this on a sweatshirt, which I also picked up recently. I just love that artwork. I've loved that artwork and the album for many, many moons. And I think this was only about $9.99. I just couldn't help myself. So we've got nice, bold, bright cover with the depiction of, I believe it's something H.P. Lovecraft relevant. I'm not quite sure on the ins and outs of that, but love it. Absolutely love it. There's another lovely shirt there. Keeping things heritage and legendary, we've got Morbid Angel's debut album. So the first proper album released as a proper album. Obviously, there were workings going on before the debut, technically. Altars of Madness, released in 1989. But this is the first album, as far as I'm concerned. And this is a very, very cool shirt. So we've got the full original artwork there, which is iconic, to say the least. Absolutely love it. Again, I do have this on a black and white long sleeve as well, which is very cool. But I love this for so many reasons. Not only because it's one of my favourite Morbid Angel albums, one of my favourite death metal albums, but I also love the nice red logo, Morbid Angel logo, and red album title there. But it's just so eye-catching. It's such a great shirt. Absolutely freaking love it. Legendary album, legendary design. So, another excellent shirt. Keeping 1989 then, I believe, get my years right. Debut album, World Downfall from Terrorizer. Now this is a very interesting one because I've known of Terrorizer for many, many years. I picked up a CD of this album. I was an early teen, actually. I picked it up way before I could really appreciate what it was and what I was listening to. Freaking great album. Great band. They're such an interesting band. Such a interesting cast that's been involved with Terrorizer over the years as well. But this album is a benchmark album. So it was released in 1989. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment, that particular album. But again, I love the cover. I love the cover to World Downfall. I love the big, bold red logo that we've got here for Terrorizer, and just the eye-catching cover. Again, it's reminiscent of Scum, From Enslavement to Obliteration, or Extreme Conditions by Brutal Truth. It's kind of got that very noisy punk-like cover going on there. And I just think that's so eye-catching. So cool. And it's just a great album as well. So yeah, couldn't help but pick that one up for whatever it was, £12 something. You know, great one. Sticking long sleeve then. We've got a few more long sleeves to come. Also sticking with stuff that David Vincent has been involved in. Morbid Angel. Another Morbid Angel long sleeve. This time we've got the Domination album cover. I love this long sleeve. I think it's so eye-catching. Nice, big, bold, green Morbid Angel logo there. Got the full artwork, which is super freaking cool. Then Earache doing their Earache thing and putting their logo down the sleeve, but this time in green. Try and actually show that off. There we go. Earache Records. Good old Earache. Nice green logos there. And on the other sleeve, we have Morbid Angel. Green logo. If I can actually flatten that out to show you. Ta-da. Very cool. Very eye-catching. So I now have a number of Morbid Angel shirts and sweaters, and I just love Morbid Angel. I've really rekindled my love for Morbid Angel over the last few years. Absolutely love them. And Domination is one album that I've been coming back to with, well, quite a regularity, should we say. Surprisingly good album, really. I think it's quite overlooked, to be fair. Great cover as well. Love it. So, another long sleeve, more Morbid Angel. Last item of clothing then. We're going white. Ta-da! This is a noisy one. This is Wormrot. From Singapore, Wormrot are a legendary band in their own right. Grindcore, absolute chaotic noise. Freaking great brand. This is just an interesting artwork, definitely. Very noisy, very busy. Again, we've got Wormrot down the sleeve, lots of little logos. I've loved Wormrot for many years. They're a band that you absolutely need to hear, and I have in fact done a bands you need to hear recommendation review of Wormrot. Well, whenever that was ago, quite a while ago, feels like. Now, more Earache logo down the sleeve there. Bloody great band. Absolute grinding madness. And this is a really nice long sleeve. Very cool. Like the big bold logo. Love it. Eye-catching artwork. And what I will say about all of these items, all the long sleeves and the t-shirts, is they're all really good quality. They're actually good quality prints. You know, they don't seem to fade that easily. I've bought quite a few things from Earache Records over the years, and these, again, they feel like good quality. They do tend to last as well. There's nothing worse than picking up some new merch and then it gets washed a couple of times and you notice the cracks in the print. Definitely don't seem to get that with Earache, and that's something I respect. So I'm sure that these will also live, and I'll get plenty of use out of those as well. So they're all the clothing items. Now we're on to the CDs. We'll go with the CDs next. An interesting mix of releases here, all of which are basically me filling in the gaps in the collection. Little things that, for some unknown reason, I hadn't picked up before, hadn't come across before, but this was a really good sale, and this stuff was really inexpensive. So we'll start off with Death Metal Gods Bolt Thrower. This is the Who Dares Wins compilation. So this is actually a compilation, a couple of EPs and bits and pieces. I've listened to this maybe once or twice on Spotify. You know what? This is good. Anything that Bolt Thrower have done is worth checking out. They're such a legendary band. And this is a nice collector's piece. This is one for the fans. You know, we've got some great tracks here. Some studio album and non-album tracks, including Cenotaph, which is a beast of a track. Got Destructive Infinity, which is great. There's a pretty savage live rendition of Realm of Chaos. The highlight, though, has to be the extended remix of Spearhead from the mighty Fourth Crusade. It's a freaking monster of an album, and that's one of the best tracks. This version is like 8+ minutes long. It's just excellent. Love it. We've got Crown of Life, Dying Creed, World Eater 94. Great stuff. The legendary Bolt Thrower, sadly missed. But of course, Carl Willits is doing his thing with Memoriam, and that will have to keep us satisfied for now. So we've got the Who Dares Wins compilation here, which is very, very, very cool. Another compilation, we've got the Noise for Music's Sake 2 CD package from Napalm Death. So I believe that the first disc is essentially a bit of a best of throughout the years. And then we've got a second disc, which is largely, I believe, unreleased material, odds and sods, extras, bits and pieces here and there. So this is an interesting one. It is pretty enjoyable, to be honest. For so many years, I overlooked this, didn't bother getting it because for a long time I had a bit of a funny relationship with compilations where I didn't really bother with them if it was only, you know, album tracks, studio album tracks. But I didn't realise, for whatever reason, I didn't realise that you actually got extras as well. So you've got unreleased stuff here and you've got other bits and pieces. But even just the compilation side, the best of bits, that's good. That's enjoyable, just revisiting those kind of choice tracks, choice cuts from Napalm Death. So this is a nice package. 2 CD, expanded, nice thing. Cool, a cool article. A bit of a collector's thing. You know, this was less than £5, if I remember correctly. I have all of Napalm Death's studio albums on CD. I've got a few other Napalm Death bits and pieces, compilations, live stuff, whatever. But I'm a total completionist. I like to have all of the albums, and yeah, this is a cool addition. Noise for Music's Sake, definitely worth having if you're a Napalm Death fan. So keeping compilation then, Entombed. I've been putting in quite a lot of time and effort into trying to fill in the gaps in my Entombed catalogue. For a long time, I only actually had the first three albums. Had the Strange Monkey Puss live album as well, which is great. You know, it's early raw stuff. Have the Entombed AD albums, but so many Entombed albums that I didn't even really think about. So I've been putting in the time, picking up what I can and piecing together the missing bits and bobs. Self-titled compilation. For so long I thought this was an album, which is strange. It's not an album. It's actually a compilation of EPs. So we've got tracks taken from the Out of Hand EP, Stranger Eons, Crawl, and there's a split EP as well. So we've got a compilation of stuff released in '97. Mostly just brilliant Entombed stuff. Absolutely stamped with Entombed and their iconic HM2 pedal buzzing fuzzy riff delectables. Absolutely love that early sound. You know what? This is an enjoyable thing. Again, this is for the fans. This is for the Entombed enthusiasts and the completionists. This isn't quite going to top Left Hand Path or Clandestine or Wolverine Blues. No. But actually it's an enjoyable thing, and it's a cool piece of the puzzle to have. So we've got Entombed. Great cover, actually, as well. I will point that out. Great cover on there. So Entombed. Then we've got 2 Morbid Angel albums, which shockingly I didn't have in the collection until now. Most surprisingly of all is Heretic. So this album I've listened to quite a number of times on YouTube, Spotify, whatever. But for whatever reason, I've never actually picked up a copy of. Now I've picked up this nice digipack. So this was, again, in the sale. It was about £6, $6.99, something like that. And it's a good album. It's from the Tucker era. I appreciate that this isn't every Morbid Angel fan's favourite album from the band. Yep, that's probably because you've got some really top-notch benchmark albums in Morbid Angel's discography. That said, this is a good album. I feel like I need to listen to it more and get more familiar with it, but I think this is a good, solid album. It's solid Morbid Angel, great tracks, solid death metal, reliable stuff. So I've picked up Heretic finally, and the maybe less surprising omission from the collection was this one, this very polarizing release. This is, I think it's Illud Divini, I can never pronounce it. Illud Divinium Insandus. Yeah, mixed feelings about this. This gets a lot of polarizing responses, but I think it's actually a little bit better than I initially anticipated it was going to be. Picked up this nice digi. That's a Season of Mist digi. Kind of like a shiny foil digipack there. It's a weird album. It's not a great Morbid Angel album. It's not even a great death metal album. But there are some good tracks on it, I would say. I've only listened to it a few times, but there are some strange moments, like Too Extreme is weird, and Destructus versus the Earth Attack. That's weird. That's a weird track. But I Am Morbid, 10 More Dead, Blades for Baal, Existo Volgor. They're pretty decent tracks. You know, I love David Vincent. I don't want to dislike this album. I'd like to like it more than I do. But you know what? Maybe it will grow on me in time with repeated listens. And it's certainly a nice package to have. And it was the final piece of the puzzle. It's the last Morbid Angel album that I didn't have. So, Illud Divinum Insanus. Cool cover though. I will admit that's an interesting cover. Random. So we've got Morbid Angel. That's all the CDs. We've got one tape. Most recent release from Wormrot are Singapore Grinders. Now this is the Left to Rot compilation. A cool tape. This is a compilation of EPs and demos. So we've got the unreleased, or we've got unused material there. We've got a split with Deceptic, and then we've got the Dead EP and a demo from 2007. There's about 30 minutes of grinding distortion and absolute noise. And you know what? It's really good. It's definitely going to satisfy Wormrot fans. It's just good stuff. It's grinding, it's noisy, it's screeching, it's grindcore. What's not to like? So I've got this cool tape package here. This is obviously Earache Records. I've got all the albums on CD, but I don't know, with the choice between the CD or the cassette for Left to Rot, I've just always drawn to tapes. I don't know why it is, but there's something about them. So I've got Left to Rot there, which is very cool, enjoyable. And now I've got a little assortment of vinyl, so I'll try and get these out of the box without damaging anything. This is a great little selection. I'm really pleased to have these actually. So first of all, we've got the 20th anniversary colour reissue of Decapitated's The Negation. So Decapitated are an amazing band from Poland, iconic band, got some great albums in their catalogue. My favourite album, which I recently showed off, also got it on vinyl, is Nihility. Absolutely love that. But this album is definitely a close follow. I believe this was the third album off the top of my head. This is a great album. The Negation is brutal. It includes some absolutely seismically heavy tracks. The Fury, Three-Dimensional Defect, Lying and Weak, Long Desired Dementia, Empty Throne. Absolutely brutal. So, originally released in, I believe it was 2003 for its 20th anniversary. It enjoyed a rather nice olive green pressing. Interesting colour scheme. But just revisiting this album, freaking love it. It's such a good album. It's really impressively heavy. I've had the CD for many years. Absolutely love this album. Couldn't resist this really nice, high quality vinyl reissue. It's got a kind of glossy, shiny sleeve here. Also includes a bonus track of Lunatic of God's Creation. Pretty legendary track there. But this is a really nice article to have. Seismically heavy album. Freaking love it. So we've got The Negation. Then a band and an album I've already mentioned. Love this one. This is Massacre from Beyond, the debut album from 1991, featuring the legendary lineup of Cam Lee on vocals, of Rick Ross on guitars, absolute legend. Freaking love that guy's riffs. Terry Butler on bass, not to be confused with Geezer, of course, but Terry death metal legend Butler, and Bill Andrews on drums. I love this album, I really do. I come back to this quite often. It's packed full of brilliant, legendary death metal tracks. Dawn of Eternity, Cryptic Realms, Biohazard, Chamber of Ages, legendary. From Beyond, Defeated Remains, Succubus, Symbolic Immortality, and Corpse Grinder, of course. But this particular version is, I believe this is the full dynamic range version. It's also on like a marbled pink and black vinyl. Hopefully you can see that okay, it's not too glary. Got the lights on because it's freaking dark. But I love this album so much. And as soon as I saw this in this particular variant, couldn't help myself. Had to pick it up. So we got a Florida death metal masterpiece in really nice vinyl format. And I'm going to be talking about this album again at some point in the near future. But this is benchmark stuff. 1991, you know, it's not too far behind the whole outpouring, the initial outpouring of the Florida death metal scene. It's just so good. It's a freaking masterpiece. From Beyond. Cam Lee's vocals, that guy is one of the best of that scene, in my opinion. And then we've got one more article to go. Kind of alluded to it already, but Terrorizer's World Downfall. So this album, as I said earlier, I've had this in CD format and all the albums, Terrorizer albums, except for Caustic Attack, only just finally managed to get a copy of that. But I've had the other three, or the first three studio albums for a long time. But it was only until very recently I actually appreciated just how important this freaking album is. And just how immense that lineup is. You know, incredible when you think that this is David Vincent produced album. Also featuring David Vincent on bass for this album and backing vocals. Alongside Pete Commando Sandoval on drums, who is an absolute monster. And then we've got the legendary, late, great Jesse Pintado on guitars, alongside Oscar Garcia on vocals. Legendary lineup, released in 1989. This is pivotal, immense grindcore / death metal, in my opinion. Yeah, it bears a lot of death metal sounds and styles there. To me, anyway, maybe that's just my death metal loving ears. But this vinyl version, I believe this is full dynamic range, but it is a merger of kind of orange and green colour. Really cool. And I'm so pleased to have this on vinyl as well as CD, because it's such a great album. I've listened to this a lot recently. It's a benchmark album. As I say, produced by David Vincent, Morbid Angel legend, of course. But it was recorded and mixed at Morrisounds Recordings, Tampa, Florida, engineered by Scott Burns. So it's bang in the right place, right time to be caught up in the Florida death metal sound and scene. Absolutely amazing. Love this album. Packed full of essential classics. So many tracks here have been recycled as band names over the years, but we've got, of course, Fear of Napalm, which is probably one of the most I guess, iconic tracks from Terrorizer. We've got Afterworld Obliteration, of course, Storm of Stress, Human Prey, Corporation Pull-In, Strategic Warheads, Enslaved by Propaganda, Ripped to Shreds, Infestation, Dead Shall Rise, World Downfall. Start to finish, amazing. Pioneering stuff. Freaking love it. It's just blast beat savagery. Absolutely love it. Terrorizer, World Downfall on a lovely, lovely kind of merger colour vinyl format. Love it. So, there we have it. That is all the articles that I've picked up from the Earache Records sale. Tried to get through those in as timely a fashion as possible. Tons of cool shirts and long sleeves here. You know, if you missed out on this sale where I've got all these goodies this time round, do check back maybe next Black Friday or whatever, because Earache do their sales, they do them well. They normally seem to do a sale around Easter time as well, so, you know, check it out. We've also got an interesting assortment of gap fills here, so piecing together and filling in some of the gaps in my discographies of Bolt Thrower, we got Napalm Death, we got Entombed, of course we got Morbid Angel, as well as Wormrot, and then we've got the amazing vinyl selection of Negation from Decapitated, we've got Massacre from Beyond, and of course World Downfall by Terrorizer. So there you have it. What are your thoughts and opinions on these albums, on these articles of merch? What are your thoughts on these bands? What are your thoughts on Earache Records and their rather excellent sale? Did you pick up any gems yourself? Let me know. Interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others as always. Thank you very much for watching this humble collection update. Do feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. The support is very much appreciated as always. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. Do take care of yourselves, and until next time, stay freaking heavy.